good day, everybody. Catch the Torah wave. Welcome back to our Genesis class, live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. It's always a joy to be met by many friends from all around the planet, online in the Zoom room, along with everybody that joins us on YouTube and Facebook and all the Noahide World Center social media. I want to welcome Rosanna Peters from The Hague, Netherlands, joining with us for the first time in the Zoom room. And I do want to encourage any established Noahide lady to reach out to her if you're in that region, either in Belgium or Germany. I've been trying to find our friend Anna Hansen, who I am pretty sure is in the Netherlands, to maybe connect with her. But there we go. So, okay, so let's just jump right in, Rabbi. If you want to start the class, we're going to jump right in and turn it over to you. We missed you last week with the tail end of Hanukkah. We know that you weren't live, so we did miss you last week, Rabbi. But we look forward to seeing you and hearing what you have to share with us from the Torah today. So, I've got Angelica Dumansky up on the screen instead of yourself, Rabbi. So you're going to have to say something. Hi, Ange.
Good to see you, Angela. Good to see you, everybody, from all over the world. Welcome back to the class. I also missed all of you last week, and we had a good 2 weeks of we had holiday. It's not a holiday. It's a good blessing with my son, who got engaged, and we're really happy with that.
Mazel tov.
The only thing that is a bit upsetting me is that he decided to do the wedding. They decided to do the wedding and Sunday another 10 weeks or something. So, but I will put us live on the when we'll have the wedding. You will see us there.
Excellent.
Welcome, blessings from Jerusalem. Good to see you all. And I first of all, I prepared a very important lesson today. And not only that, I have also a very interesting surprise later on tonight, that all of you will be very warm in your body. You will say to yourself, "Oh, very nice." You will see it soon. But the lesson of today, we want to learn, because it's already a long time that we are learning this Genesis, and there are things that I said in the beginning, and we need, we have more people now, so it's important also to mention a few fundamental issues. So let's start straight ahead. And we're going to learn the second part of the chapter 18, where Abraham is fighting God. This is the only way I can say it. Now, Dan, I will ask you to read a few verses, not one, a few verses till the end of the chapter. Sure. And then we're going to deal with what we saw and to understand it in 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 levels. Okay, so be prepared with yourself, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. So let's share the screen. Okay, we saw that God is saying to Abraham, we are in chapter 18, and we're going to finish this chapter now. We saw that Abraham got promised from God that he's going to have a son from Sarah, not from someone else. And this son is going to continue his dynasty. And Abraham is also accepting those 3 men, those 3 angels. We saw already that it might be that it happened, it might be that it's only a prophecy. We saw that there are 2 ways how to explain those verses. And now we're going to be, like in the TV, when you have law and order, and you're going and you're seeing what's happening in the courtroom, but you're not allowed to say any word. So this is the same thing in this scripture now, in the verses now, that we're going to see the court of God and the discussion inside there, what God is saying and what the lawyer Abraham is answering and what is happening there. Okay, so let's start. I'm asking you to read from 17 till the end of the chapter.
Okay.
Please.
Starting at 17. And the Lord said, "Shall I conceal from Abraham what I am doing? And Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations of the world will be blessed in him. For I have known him because he commands his sons and his household after him that they should keep the way of the Lord to perform righteousness and justice, in order that the Lord bring upon Abraham that which he spoke concerning him. And the Lord said, since the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah has become great, and since their sin has become very grave, I will descend now and see whether according to her cry which has come to me they have done. I will wreak destruction upon them, and if not, I will know. And the men turned from there and went to Sodom, and Abraham was still standing before the Lord. And Abraham approached and said, will you even destroy the righteous with the wicked? Perhaps there are 50 righteous men in the midst of the city. Will you even destroy and not forgive the place for the sake of the 50 righteous men who are in their midst? Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to put to death the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be like the wicked. Far be it from you. Will the judge of the entire earth not perform justice? And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous men within the city, I will forgive the entire place for their sake. And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have commenced to speak with the Lord, although I am dust and ashes. Perhaps the 50 men will be missing 5. Will you destroy the entire city because of 5? And he said, I will not destroy if I find there 45. And he continued further to speak to him, and he said, perhaps 40 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it for the sake of the 40. And he said, please, let the Lord's wrath not be kindled, and I will speak. Perhaps 30 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, behold, now I have desired to speak to the Lord. Perhaps 20 will be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of 20. And he said, please, let the Lord's wrath not be kindled, and I will speak yet this time. Perhaps 10 will be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of the 10. And the Lord departed when he finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place.
Now, the truth is, thank you very much, Dan. The truth is that we have a lot of small details inside here that we can explain. But I want to speak about some principles now, not about the small details. Therefore, you all know this, okay? You all know this. The situation. The situation was that Abraham stood in front of God. Think about this for a moment, okay? I don't know if someone who here went once to the court, but it's a very uncomfortable situation to stand in front of a judge who can decide what to do. And you basically, usually you fear with this. Now, Abraham is standing here in front of the Almighty who created this world. Not only just a judge, okay? A human being that you can mightly accidentally pop inside with him to the toilet, for example, okay? And say one to each other, oh, okay, we know one each other. We are, both of us are human. Here we spoke with God, and he said to him, maybe there are 50, 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay, so he went and everything else. So let's see, first of all, in a principle, to understand what's happening here. I said more than once, if we think about the situation of creation, where nobody forced God to create this world. And before God created anything in this world, everything was full with God. And what God did, and the word creation in Hebrew, this is the word creation in Hebrew is going out, okay? What God did, he gave place to others to be in this world. Think about this for a moment. Yeah. Space. He gave space. Now it's not in the physical side, okay? I'm speaking about the spiritual idea. It's not, God doesn't have any space. He is not in a space. He's a spiritual thing, okay? A spiritual thing is not space. I'm speaking about the principle of the idea. When God is allowing people to live here and to have presency, and each person here in this world is in the image of God, you and you and you and you, everybody. So God is allowing others to live in this world, not only himself. And we explained it more than once that when Cain was born, he was some sort of a messiah to his parents because they are not only receiving life, they're also giving life. And Cain thought on himself that he was the only one here. The second one that was born after him, Abel, again, the name Abel in Hebrew is wind. So you can say that it went with the wind. I must start with apologize, or a bit, it's hard. It was hard to hear what happened in the United States in the last weekend, in this weekend, with the wind.
The tornadoes, yeah.
The tornadoes and everything
Kentucky
else.
way.
Yes, but the wind have two, I will say, options. Option number one is to move over with the wind. Okay, there's a story. There's a very famous movie about it. But there's also a possibility to give a lot of inspiration to someone. So Abel, as a wind, okay, I will call it like that, his mission was to teach Cain that he is not the only person here in this world, but he is supposed to live with others, just like God also giving him this, giving all of us this opportunity. Now, both of them failed. Cain didn't learn from Abel. Abel didn't have the ability to teach Cain this thing. And since then, we are looking from the beginning of history till today, how can we give others place to live? It's on the level of the personal level, me and my neighbors, and it's also on the nation levels. We all know that in the last 2 weeks, there's a very big tension between Russia and the United States, because Russia is saying that it's going to occupy again Ukraine, right? We've heard about it. Not only me in all of the, how do you call it, all of the news, okay? Everybody heard about it. But what is the reason that Russia would like to capture Ukraine? There isn't really a good reason for that, okay? It's only a question of proud, or question of other things. So the main thing that we are debating since the world came to this world, not the Garden of Eden, everybody is saying all the time, or the Christian world is saying all the time, that the sin of Adam and Eve, this is what we're supposed to repair. We're not speaking about this sin. This sin is something above us, okay? It's something that happened somewhere in Eden, in the Garden of Eden. We're speaking about the main sin that happened between Cain and Abel. And here we find someone that his name is Abraham, that is fighting against God, that those people of Sodom and Gomorrah, who are just the opposite way of him, they are behaving just against Abraham. If Abraham is accepting people to his tent and bringing people to his home to give them food and a charity and everything else, those people of Sodom and Gomorrah were just the opposite. They didn't accept anybody to come to their city, okay? And Abraham, even though those people are behaving just 100%, 180% in the other side of his behavior, Abraham is saying to God, please give them space in your world. Point number one, this is just the opposite way of Cain and Abel, okay? While Cain said, I'm going to kill anybody else who is next to me here, okay? And he killed Abel, and Abel didn't manage to bring his potential and his mission to this world. He didn't manage to stand in front of Cain. Abraham is saying, or is asking God, is demanding from God, this is what we read now, please leave those people in this world, even though they are doing or they are acting just the opposite way of Abraham. And Abraham said, no, but we need to have everybody here in this world. You can't just kill such a big giant place of this world. And I'm asking you to leave them in this world. Maybe we will manage to help them to do repentance. So this is point one that we can see here, how much Abraham is trying and doing effort to live here, everybody in this world, even though some of them are against his ideas. Point number one. Let's continue on. I want to speak about point number two, okay? We're going more profound and more profound, so be with me. And we said it when we've learned about Noach, And I'm going to show this now on the other side. God is coming to Abraham and saying to him, I don't want to hide my ideas and what I'm going to do. I'm not sure 100% what I'm going to do with Sodom and Gomorrah. I've heard hard things about Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to see what happened there. And if it's true what I've heard, so I'm going to demolish them. And if it's not true, I will think what to do. So what Abraham is doing, starting to fight with God. Don't do that. I don't agree. I disagree. Don't do this in my world. Don't do this in my place. You know, this is my country. You promised me this country. God also did the same with Noah. God came to Noah and said to him, men in this world is doing very hard things. They're doing a lot of robbery one with each other. I need to demolish this world. I need to bring a flood. So what Noah is doing? How can you save me? To build an ark? Okay, I will build an ark for myself. The most similar thing that I can give with this story is that, let's say, for example, we are a group of people who went to a hike outside from our homes, and it's very cold now. Okay, it's very cold. It's night. We're exhausted. We did a long tour and everything else, and it's cold now. So there are those who will take a coat and put on themselves, and they will be warm. Fine. But who they saved? Only themselves. And there are those who are going to go to take a lot of wood and to do a bonfire that everybody will be able to get warm. This is the difference between Noah and Abraham. Noah heard that God wants to demolish the world, to bring a flood, and Noah is, it's enough for him to survive for himself. Abraham is doing something else. When Abraham is hearing that God might bring some sort of a tornado, okay, inside to Sodom and Gomorrah, so Abraham is starting to fight against God. Is it fair what you're doing? Maybe there are righteous people, maybe there are good people there. And if it's like that, so you're not allowed to do that, because those people will be able to bring the others to become, to do repeatness. We're starting to see the difference between the Noah behavior and Abraham behavior. The next up-level behavior will be Moses, when God is saying to him, it's in chapter 32 of the second book of Exodus. God is saying to him, they did the golden calf, the Hebrew nation. So God is saying to Moses, give me permission, I'm going to kill all of them, and you're going to be the big nation. So Moses is telling him, look, no. They need to stay alive. If you want, kill me only, and that's it. So this is another level, another one big level, but when we will be there, we will speak about this level and the difference between this and Abraham and why there is this difference. But the main thing is not to think only on yourself, but also to realize the responsibility that we have to others in this world. Not only to take a coat to get warm, but to try to build up a bonfire so that others also will get warm with us and will understand what's happening. If I will go another step, not only to say to ourselves, okay, so we know the truth today, and there are a lot of people who are in the bad situation, so we will stay inside our own ark, so nobody will learn and see what's happening. No, we need to find the way to give the light to others also. And this is what Abraham is doing. This is the second level of this story. I want to go to another level of this story, okay? Be with me for a moment, because it's going to be a very
profound
and uncomfortable explanation, okay? We today, when we learn the Bible, this is something that I said more than once, but again, it's a good time to show this again, to show this principle again. When we are learning the Bible, okay, the Hebrew Bible, we know that there are a few fundamental, I will say, points in the story. Okay, God created the world in the first 2-3 chapters, Garden of Eden. Then we have Cain and Abel, and then we have the flood with Noah. You know what? Maybe before we go into another stage, I will remind us all that the word ark in Hebrew, I'm going back to Noah and Abraham. Okay,
Teva.
The Teva, yes, exactly. When I'm saying, when God spoke with Noah, he more than hinted him that he's supposed to try to pray and to do some difference inside all of this, his generation. Because the word Teva in Hebrew, what we call ark in English, have two meanings. The meaning, one meaning is ark, okay? It's a big boat that you can do, and you can stay there and everything else, fine. But the other meaning, or the main meaning of the word Teva, is the word okay? A word. Now, when you see the measurement of the Teva, and it's a bit related with what you spoke before, Mike, when you see the measurement of the Teva, it's the same measurement of the word of God. Okay? So God
In what
is
respect,
hinting
Rabbi?
God is hinting him, Noah, go and raise my name in front of all of your generation. So they will do repeatness. And I won't I won't bring the flood. This is what God is saying to him. But Noah understood only on the level of, okay, I will build an ark. Instead of being like Abraham, okay, a bit more in action side towards his generation. So this is concluding the second step, just as another point that we mentioned once, but now I want to go to another side, another more profound side. When we are learning the Hebrew Bible, we have few, I will say, stages that we all know them. It starts with God creating the world. It's continuing with Cain and Abel. And then the second thing is with the flood, and then the Babylon Tower, and then Abraham is coming, and so how this family of Abraham is separated from Ishmael and from Esau, and it's only Jacob. And then the fight of the brothers, and the selling Joseph, and Joseph become the almighty king of Egypt,
Viceroy,
secondary, the vice president of Egypt, and he is bringing all of his family there. And this is how Genesis is working. And then it's continuing on to the second step of the slavery of the Hebrew nation, and the 10, how do you call it,
commandments.
It's first of all, God is punishing the Egyptians,
plagues.
and then, yes, exactly, plagues. And then we all know this story, but this is the most dangerous situation if we want to learn the Bible. Because we need to realize that in every verse of the Bible, there was really a 100% possibility to decide how to behave and what to do the next step. It wasn't supposed to be only in this way. It might have been in other ways. Okay? When God is saying to Esau, I'm going to say this at this point by heart, okay? When God is saying to Esau, you know what, let's see it for a moment, okay? Let's see it for a moment. I will share the screen. I want all of us to realize how much it's working like that, and we're going to show this on this chapter. On chapter 18, I'm going to show this as an example. This is why I said it's a good opportunity to say it, okay? Let's go to chapter 4, not to Esau. When God is saying to Cain, okay? We see here, we remember the story of Cain and Abel. Both of them are getting, and both of them are bringing sacrifice to God. And Abel brought the firstborn, okay? And God turned to Abel and to his offering, but he didn't turn to Esau and to Cain. Sorry, to Cain. And Cain was a bit frustrated, okay? How do you call it? And his
countenance
fell. In Hebrew, you have, by the way, you say, naflu panecha, your face fall down, okay? And then God is saying something amazing to Cain. He's saying to him, listen, you are thinking like the firstborn baby, that everything is yours in this world, and you don't understand that there is a possibility that to accept that there are others in this world. You're not even looking unable. Okay? And he said to him, why are you annoyed? And if you read verse number 7, please.
7, is it not so that if you improve, it will be forgiven you? If you do not improve, however, at the entrance, sin is lying, and to you is its longing, but you can rule over it.
Basically, what God is saying to him, it depends on you. You will improve. Everything will be fine. You won't improve. You might do sin. Okay? So at this point of time, after verse number 7, Cain and Abel, okay, so you can speak one with each other, and maybe they can even start to listen one to each other, right? And Cain spoke with Abel, his brother. Fine. Maybe the continuance of the history could have been here, that the next part of the verse will be, and they accomplished one with each other. Cain understood his position, Abel understood his position, and they decided to live together, and the Messiah came. Why not? It's also a possibility, right? We know today that they didn't took this possibility. But who said?
Yeah.
It could have been.
In hindsight, we know it.
It could have been. Who said no? Okay. Now I want to show another twist of history. Okay. Let's jump for a moment to chapter 14. Chapter 14. Chapter 14 is a very interesting chapter where Abraham is managing to fight. There's a big war, big world war in this region. Okay. 4 kings against 5 kings. Okay. That they waged with Bera and everything else, and it's all those joined to the valley of Siddim, okay? It's in the Dead Sea. The same, we have Gomorrah. And they fight one with each other 12 years, 13 years. At the end, they took Lot, the nephew of Abraham, and they ran away up there to Syria. Fine. And Abraham is fighting against them, and he's managing. Let's read it for a moment. First of all, as you can see here, and they took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's very important here, okay? And all their food, and they departed. Fine. They lost the battle. Sodom and Gomorrah lost the battle. It's written down here, right? And they also took Lot, as we can see in verse number 12. And someone is coming and saying to Abraham, this is what happened. And Abraham is going and is managing. Please read verses 15.
And he divided himself against them at night, he and his servants, and smote them and pursued them until Hobah, which is to the left of Damascus. And he restored all their possessions, and also Lot his brother, and his possessions he restored, and also the women and the people.
Till here, that's it. That's enough. What is happening in the old days when someone is winning the battle?
They kept the spoils.
He is the king of everybody. He is now, everybody is his. Yeah. He is the ruler of all of them. He is the one who is in charge of them. He is everything, right? This is what happened in those days. Fine. So now all of those people are supposed to be under
his
Abraham.
Servant. Yeah, his servitude. Yeah.
Under his servants. And we know already that Abraham have the possibility of bringing people towards God. Remember that? We spoke about this more than once. All the people they did in Haran, Abraham he knows how to speak. He knows how to convince people. He knows how to bring people under the understanding of, I will say, the Almighty God. He did it already in other places. He knows how to do that. And now we're finding something amazing. Please read verse number 17.
17, and the king of Sodom came out toward him after his return from smiting Chedorlaomer, and the kings who were with him to the valley of Sheva, which is the valley of the king.
What our sages are saying, why it's called the valley of the king? Because everybody there said, Abraham, you are now the master of the masters. You are the main king. We are all under you. This is what people said there. It's written down in Rashi. We won't go inside to this, okay? And Melchizedek also, the son of Noach, Shem, son of Noach, is going out and saying all sorts of things. And now look in the rude behavior of the king of Sodom. Please read verse number 21.
21. And the king of Sodom said to Abraham, give me the souls and the possessions take for yourself.
Who are you to ask for souls? Why are you asking the souls? Now, I want to ask all of you, let's think for a moment. Do you think that Sodom and Gomorrah in one day became all of them very bad people? We all know that it's taking, step by step. It's not that in one day you become the German Nazis who are killing people just for the fun. It is something that will take 15, 20, 30 years. I don't know how much. The same thing here. We know that this king is not the most appropriate person. And he's very rude here. He's saying to Abraham. But let's look for a moment what Abraham is answering. What if I was Abraham? I would have supposed to tell him, listen, you did enough. You did enough. Now let's teach those people much better behavior. But Abraham is not doing that. What Abraham is doing, he can decide now what to do. You with me? We know what he decided. In a moment, we're going to read it. Before we will know what he decided, he can decide here two things. He can decide to leave those people under his guidance, or to let them to go back to Sodom and Gomorrah king, right? And what exactly Abraham is asking, please, deciding?
Neither from a thread to a shoe strap, nor will I take from whatever is yours, that you should say, I have made Abraham wealthy.
Okay, so Abraham is saying, he's deciding what this decision is. I don't want to interfere. Those people are yours. Continue on with them. Continue with everything else. Now we're starting to think or to realize what is happening in chapter 18. When God is saying to Abraham, I'm going to demolish Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham is feeling responsibility for his decision here. When we are deciding things, there is some sort of consequences to what we are deciding. Abraham had here all the option of taking responsibility on those people and to bring them to the right place. And suddenly he realized that his decision a few years ago, we're speaking about 30 years difference, okay? 30 years ago, that he didn't took them under his guidance, brought those people to become a very evil people. And Abraham is very frustrated. The only thing that is left for him is to pray. And he's praying in front of God. This is what is left for what he can do. But again, if we are reading the Bible in the right way, we're starting to realize that decisions that we are taking in one step will affect things in the other step. In another 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, I don't know how much. I will say it like that. When we are reading the Bible, the Hebrew people, we are reading the Bible in a way that we are learning today how to behave, because we are writing, all of us, all of this world, the next verse of the Bible. We are all writing the next verse of the Bible. And the Bible is waiting remember the seventh day? We said this more than once also. In all of the days it was one day, and it was day and night, and it was night and day, first day. It was night and day, second day. It was night and day, but there's only one day that we don't have the night and day. It didn't conclude it, the seventh day. And we are waiting that we will all be holy and blessed. And then God will say it was a night and day, and the seventh day finished, and we are in the eighth day. But we are writing the the next step of the Bible or the next verse of the Bible. It's our decision, it's our behavior that is writing the next step. Point that is very important to remember. Now I want to say another very important point, another point that we must learn from chapter 18. Okay, let's go back to chapter 18 and see that I said more than once, Abraham is with the mindset of kindness and mercy and giving
Chesed,
opportunity, what we call chesed in Hebrew, okay? Kindness, kindness, kindness. We need to give everybody as much as possible opportunity and more and more and more and more. And more. And now that Isaac is coming, the Israeli nation is in a bit different situation than anybody else, because we don't have one person that is the father of the nation. We have three. Why do we need to have three? Okay, why do we need this Trinity? But it's a very big difference because we are only people. Why do we need to have three people that will be the beginning of our nation? And the answer is very deep, it's very profound, because I will explain it like that. If we're taking one side in a totally way, it might bring us to all sorts of evil behavior. And we saw that, for example, in the last 100 years, where the communists, for example, okay, the Communist Party, took it in a way that was so hard that they killed in their nation more than 20 million people, because of the idea that the communist is going to bring the Messiah to this world. And we saw the same thing with the fascism, with the Nazism. They killed so many people, okay, because they took only one side. If you will take only the kindness, so the world will be also full with a lot of people who are very nasty, very bad people. And we will say all the time, but we need to be very kind with them. And this is what Abraham is starting to learn just before Isaac is coming, or straight after he is getting the announcement from God that Isaac is coming. And Isaac, we said, is the one who is standing and saying, enough, what we call the deen, okay, till here, not more than that. And then we have a prayer that Abraham is saying with more kindness, give more option, give more opportunity and everything else. But also Abraham is learning that there is a stop for that. Enough, that's it, okay? So even though God is saying in verse number 19, okay, I know that he will keep my way, okay, the way of the Lord, okay, to perform righteousness and justice. Not only kindness, not only to become right, but also to do justice. And this is what Abraham is learning in this prayer. He's learning in this prayer that there is also a limit to the kindness. And the limit is, if you don't find even not even 10, so God is, we have no problem. No, we have no choice. We can't have only the kindness in this world. We need also to have the justice in this world. And as I said before, every revolution that we had in this world that took only one side brought a lot of problems on the other side. You know, there is a very big religion. I forgot exactly the name of this religion, but a very big one in this world that is saying that you need to be only with the kindness. And when someone is smacking you in one side of the face, giving the other side of the face. And this religion, we all know, brought here to this world a lot of very hard and big wars with millions of people who died from the Crusades till the last century that we know. Because if you only taking one side, so what will happen is that you might lose it. And this is why we have three. We have Abraham with the kindness, Isaac with the what we call the din, okay, with the justice, and Jacob who is, I will say, the middle side between those two. The middle side is very hard. It's what is the most hard part of this situation. It's like walking on the rope, you know, and underneath you don't have anything. You need to have the balance between the righteousness, the kindness, and the justice. You need to be the balance. If you won't be in the right balance, what will happen? You will fall down. This is Jacob. And when we have those three together, we're starting to realize that on one side, we had people like Abraham, like Jacob, like Isaac and Jacob, who brought these amazing ideas to the world in a full, totally way. Abraham was full 100% kindness, okay? Isaac was full 100% in the justice way, and Jacob was full 100% in the balance. So each one of them did the 100% in his way. We are trying to balance all the situation. I think we said more than once, it is not a very big problem, I will say it like that, to have a situation that you, in a spiritual level, you live in a spiritual level, out there in the mountains as a monk. The problem is to live in this world in a righteous way. Okay, this is, let's see you like that. Okay, and this is what our fathers taught us to do. And Abraham is learning the first step or the first part, okay, of becoming to stop, I will say, the kindness, endless kindness that he have, and he's starting to
taken
learn
advantage of for sure.
that it's stopping. So so we saw here a few things. Okay, we saw here that first of all that the creation is to give also space to someone else, not only to yourself. First thing that you explained, we saw that the difference between Abraham and Noah. Abraham who is starting to fight for others, while Noah was only for himself. Don't get me wrong, okay? Noah was righteous in his generation, was the main righteous. He is a continuous of this generation. The Hebrew nation is also part of the dynasty of Noah, the kids of Noah, okay? We also got, after that, the Bible, the Torah, and we are the priest for the rest of the world. But Noah was a very righteous person. But there is a difference on the behavior of Noah and the behavior of Abraham, and this is what we saw. We also saw, and I'm switching between point 4 and point number 3. We also saw that Abraham is learning that there is a limit to the kindness of him, and he's supposed also to have some sort of starting to have the limitation of the kindness, I will call it like that. And the fourth point that we mentioned it in the third one, is that the world wasn't being created in a perfect way. And God is asking men to be to partnership with him to rebuild this world. And each step that the Bible is describing us, the next step could be in one way or it could be in another way. And men really have 100% free will to decide how to go. Also in the Bible, it could be different with Cain and Abel. Unfortunately, it happened like that. It could be different in the other places of the Bible. It could have been also different with Abraham himself, if he would have taken under his umbrella, okay, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. So now this part of this chapter he wasn't supposed to pray for that, because he already took them and he managed to convert them, but he didn't. He decided not to take them. Maybe it was right not to take them. I don't, it's hard to say, okay, right or wrong for this situation. But I understand why he didn't took them, because he said to himself, I can't start education serious when I'm forcing them because I managed to capture them. It's something that they're supposed to also to give or to will or to wish, and they don't want. So
Makes all the difference, doesn't it? Sure.
exactly. So I can understand why everyone decided what he decided there in chapter 14, but the consequence of this is now he's standing in front of God and praying and saying, "Look, maybe I did a mistake. You must help me. You must. Let's go back." So, but at this point, and this is I'm stopping the share. Let's see if I have here a surprise for you. Lee Fogel, raise up your hands. Surprise number one. Hey.
Lee, nice to have you with us again. It's been too long.
It's been a long time. It's nice to be here. Thanks for the warm welcome.
Yes, so this is Lee, but I have another, we have here another, we have another one that is probably will pop inside very soon. And I want to, we are going to have a very, we want to jump up another stage in the Noachide movement. And for that, Lee, and thank you very much for that, also Lee decided to come. We call it in Hebrew, מתחת לאלונקה, איך אומרים את זה באנגלית? to join the staff of the Noachide World movement for that. And also we have another person that is going to come inside in a moment, and you will see him, hopefully soon. You will be surprised. You will be tickling warm in your stomach. So, and together we decided to, just a moment.
I see some new faces here. Granted, I haven't been around for a number of months, but it's great to see some new faces.
I think it's been nearly 6 months, Lee, since you were last on. I think mid-June for sure.
Yeah.
But he visited us before Rosh Hashanah, you know. Okay, but we are going to, we want to move one stage ahead with the Noachide movement and with the things that we have. One of the things that urged us to do this step, in a moment I will explain a bit more and we will listen to what you have to say. And it's very important for us to listen to what you have to say. One of the things that urged us to do this is that we got from few places of the world the question or the request, this is the most exact word, a request that we will take more responsibility on other communities in other places, in other languages, not only in the English language. And we have in a lot of places, also we have also in this room, we have people in other languages that are teaching things from here to other places, to other languages. And we got more and more questions lately, requests from other communities, other Noachide communities, to address, to teach more how to build up communities. Now, let me tell you a secret. The coronavirus is not so friendly. It's not so friendly with the world. Very big secret. And also in the Jewish world, we see in the last 2 years how communities are changing the way of communicating one with each other. Okay, if for 2,000 years, communities behaved in a one way, in the last 2 years, we see that communities are behaving differently and using a lot of the internet platforms instead of a visual connection, visual, you know, a real connection. And we want to ask and to understand from people here in this room, we have a lot of ideas how to manage to build up, I will call it a structure, how to spread over the words of the Noachide and to build up communities. But we would like very much to listen to what you have to say. And what are the notes or points that you think is important for us to listen, to know, so we will be able to help you to build up communities. Noahide communities. Now, especially in the last, I will say, we're working on this already for the last 2 months, and the other person who's supposed to come inside, and I don't see her yet, it's Sarah. I think you all know Sarah, or remember Sarah also.
Well, from Profound Prayer.
Yes, exactly.
She was wonderful. Yes.
She's also will be part of this team. And I'm giving you the stage. I want to hear from you. I know that it's a bit frustrating to hold the community of England and to have people from all over the England and don't know exactly what to do to start to build up the community. And it's the same in Italy, it's the same in French, it's the same in other Netherlands and a lot of
Even
other
Canada,
places.
yeah, everywhere.
And I think that it's also related to the lesson that we spoke now. Because what we said basically is that we're supposed to be like Abraham, not only for ourselves to put up the coats, but also to try to address the others. Because if not, another few years, we will only pray for them. Okay? So it's maybe it's a coincidence, but it's not. I'm sure that it's not really a coincidence. And all of us together supposed to take the footsteps of Abraham. Now, if you're asking me, I'm not even sure what is the best word to use. Is the best word to use is that we want to have leaders, that we want to have influencers. All of us are going to be influencers. Each one of us is going to take in his emotions and his times. I don't know. I'm opening my heart and my ears. Lee,
Well, Rabbi,
I've
I've always said that one of the biggest problems preventing Noahide communities from even taking off and flourishing is what's known as authority bias. Humanity has authority bias. Without a Noahide Shemitah of any sort, authority bias just goes elsewhere. And the hardest part is, I mean, to put a whole group of unknown people into a room to see who's the leader blindly is chaos. It's flat out chaos without any structure. You end up with such derogatory behavior and treatment. It's not healthy. And so trying to keep healthy, open forums, the mandate, trying to understand, to grow it based on just knowing the Sheva Mitzvot I think when people have a firm grip on what that is, that's fine. People will function orderly, but authority bias is everybody is attracted to whoever's the leader. It's kind of funny that way. And without any structure for Noahide leadership, communities are never going to flourish in this. You're fighting an uphill battle. You're asking people to accept people who are not recognized as leaders, and it's just it doesn't happen.
If I understand correctly, Dan, what you're saying basically is that you think that one of the main things that we need to do is to build up, I will say, to give you the ingredients how to become leaders. I understand correctly?
Well, even the ingredients itself.
Just a moment. Okay. Yes.
I also wanted to clarify, Rabbi Chaim. You mentioned the difference we talked about between leaders and influencers, right? Rabbi Sachs talks about in his book. He talks about the difference between these two phrases, between these two terms. An influencer could be somebody doesn't necessarily have an official title, might not carry an official level of authority, but it's somebody who takes charge, somebody who initiates. He or she has ideas and moves them forward and finds those around them to help out. So it's not necessarily somebody with an official title or authority, but it is somebody who has a vision and who knows how to carry it forward. That's one thing about the authority bias, Dan. The other thing, again, he also mentions this. It's a fantastic book. I would highly recommend. It's called Lessons in Leadership. He talks it from the Torah portion. Each section there's 4 or 5 pages with just nuggets of leadership lessons that I think are valuable to all of us. He says there as well that the Torah teaches that really no person is an entirely passive follower. It's kind of a grassroots movement, right? You're right that some people naturally take on more responsibility and more authority. People look to them and they have more knowledge, they have more capability, but nobody really is entirely passive. So it's also educating to that, right? In the essence of Pirkei Avot, right? In the first Mishnah of Pirkei Avot, of raising up disciples. Right, it's raising up the people around you, like Rabbi Chaim is saying, giving them the knowledge and also the tools and the encouragement. Also having like maybe an inner circle of communication between influencers in different communities, sharing challenges, sharing best practices, and encouraging one another. So I think some of the points that I wanted to clarify.
Thank you, Lee. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's difficult. There is clear effect in what you're saying. It's very, very hard to develop a community. People, especially those leaving, say, Christianity, what they're looking for in their frame of mind is going from one community locale to another. And it doesn't exist there in B'nai Noach, and they're looking for that, where is a group I can physically walk into, and it just doesn't exist as it could. Yeah, and so, we are seeing much growth over the last few years, but it's, how do you,
Okay. So you said something very important and with this, and it's fine. Let's see also others. I think that I have a lot of insights with the things that you said, Dan. Okay, let's also hear others. It's very important to hear also other people. Yes, please. Yes, Tavis. Tavis, Lizette, we will hear all of you. Yes.
Yes. What I would like to, well, like I said, I put in my chat. I was going to ask at the end of the class if you had a listing of people in Georgia that we could get in contact with to try to put together a group, like a board of directors or something to begin a group, because I by myself, I have a little text thing that I do with about 50 people. They're scattered out all over. They're friends and family all over the world. We have that community.
You said all over the world. Sorry, Travis.
Yes, all over the world. I've been around the world, and I have a lot of people from a lot of different places. So I send out a little teaching every week from the Parsha that touches my heart about things in the world, and it's helping people. And it's mainly to get the knowledge out there, because if you go to any Christian that's sat in that Christian church forever and you say, do you know the name of God? And they're going to give you a false name. They don't know the name. They don't know where. They know, they'll say Lord, they'll say God, they'll say those titles that we have given. And I know that it's been taken out of play, but there has to be something tangible, because see, they still have that name that they can hold on to from the back of the book. And we need a name from the front of the book. We know that the name from the back of the book exists in the front of the book in Joshua. He was the first to go into Israel. I see a lot of things. My thing is when I'm bringing them out, all of the new people that I meet on the street, when I go up to them and they want to know, what is my faith? And I tell them, and I start, and I tell them about the freedom in the 7 Noahide laws, the freedom to come, the freedom to choose and to walk properly. And I start, well, they go directly to Jesus. Now, we got to be nice, like the Rabbi in his teachings, How to Perfect the World, the writings that they took and made that book. It says that you have to be nice, and that you don't necessarily have to take Jesus totally away from them right away. You got to be nice about it, and you got to bring them out slowly, because you're ripping a piece of something they've been doing for 20 and 30 and 40 years out of their body, out of their soul, that even though it might not be right, we're ripping a piece of them away. So we got to give them something to fill that void. I have a hard time filling that void with something, because it's like losing a mother or a father. You never fill the void. It just kind of that a scab grows over it, and it doesn't hurt as much. But anyway, my thing is there a way that through you there in Israel that have all of the email contacts that know who we are out here, maybe you could send that email out that we could say to each individual and say, do you mind if I give this to an individual? Right? And if they can respond and say, yes, let's set that thing up and do it, then let's do it. That way I can contact more people. Like I say, the nearest one I know of right now is 40 miles away from me. And our schedules don't allow us to get together. So I know I'm talking a lot and we want other people in. These are my thoughts.
Okay, no, it's important. It's important. You're saying good things. Okay, fine. We are learning. We are listening, because we are preparing a plan, and we want to do it in the right way. So this is why we are learning.
Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to jot down what you're saying as well, Travis. Yeah, go ahead, Rabbi.
No, I'm saying that there are two main points that you said. You said something in a practical way, the issue of the emailing, okay, and you said something also in a very deep emotional psychologist way, okay, that the movement from the Christianity and Jesus towards the movement to become an Noachite is something very hard for people. And those are 2 points that are very important, and we took them. I see that Sarah is also joining us. Yes, we have in a moment, Angela and Mike. Okay, we have time tonight. We have time. Sarah, good to see you. Welcome
Hi,
back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Shalom, Sarah.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you with us, Sarah.
Hi.
Excellent. Okay, so we said before that Linda wanted to speak, then Lizette, and then Mike and Angela. Okay, Linda, please.
Listening to what everybody's saying, and as I've put it in the chat, maybe we should, in each country, create some form of council of our people. If you look at the UK at the moment, I mean, you've got Angela and Mike and myself, we're the administrators of the Facebook page, but, getting it set up so that we have a core of people that can actually help to promote and develop it.
Are you talking about generating content, Linda, and also advertising the content?
Yes, organizing it so that we can have a structure so that when people come to us, we can then turn around and say, right, okay, we are part of the Noahide community within the World Centre, and being able to advocate the pathways through Rabbi Goldberg and Rabbi Cherky and the rest of you, so that we can have some formalized structure. Sorry, I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't say it. Mike and Angie, you know what I'm trying to say.
No, first of all, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just a moment, Pavis. It's very fine. And again, also, we can hear that you're a bit, how do you call it in English? Nirgeshet, say the word in English. That you, with all of the emotions here.
It's very exciting. Yeah, it's an exciting idea.
Exciting. And I want to remind you all of you, that you have our emails, all of our emails. And it's okay to try to find the few minutes also to sit down in front of the email and to write things. We're not going to give answers now tonight. We are adjusting a lot of things. We are listening, and we are going to sit down and to think of a strategy how to work it out. And we are a team here, so it's okay, Linda, also to have the few minutes to sit down in front of the email, try to write it down and to put it in a structure. And also all of the others that are sitting here also, it's something that you can think about this later on. Okay.
I'll let the others continue, Rabbi, and it's fantastic. I'm trying to jot down your input. It would also interest me to hear if there are country-specific or culture-specific challenges, obstacles that you think you might face.
Okay, Lizette wanted to speak. Obviously, wanted to say something that is related with Linda.
Well, yes, off of what Linda was saying, I find that when we want to get together, like me, I'm retired, working hard. We got inflation big, and I'm tight on money. Now, my Tzedakah box, I was going to ask you later, is full. I can't get any more in it. So I was going to email you and ask you, what would be the best place to put this to help Israel or the Noahide movement? So what I was thinking is there a way that maybe you and Israel could maybe put together like in the synagogues, they have a charity box for the poor where they put cash in it, and in secret, those who need can take. Maybe we could do something like that with this. I don't know. I just want to throw something out, because most of us out here are real tight right now. And so we're doing what we can. It's just a lot of financial help, $10, $15. But anyway, that was just something, and I'm going to get off and let everybody else speak because she kind of was talking about.
Fine. Okay, fine. Thank you very much, Talis. I will answer you for that. After that, okay, Lisette, yes, please. If you can do it, Lisette, if you can speak in English and not in Spanish, it will be nice.
I always speak, in English, so I wanted to say that I'm brainstorming here. There's so much into it, and I see so many things. But today, with your lesson, I have gotten a big light, and that is when you mentioned the word teva, that means word. Okay, and I agree with this with Travis completely. We have to respect the fact that getting into the Noahide world is a process, and it might be slow. And the same way that the Creator has had so much patience with us to go in, then we need to be patient with the others too. It's a process, and it might be a slow process. Now, the word, we have a problem, and that is that we're dealing with concepts. And we use some words that are the same words as the Christians, but it has a totally different concept inside. And the concept is what we need to spread out with thoughts, with situations, and just, we have the internet to help us with this, and people will start to get used to those concepts and start thinking, and then they start moving towards that reality, because it's so true. It's so true and so real that people will see it eventually. But I wouldn't want to have like in the Christian world that people start, spreading the word of the Torah. No. What I need is the concept. This concept, they must be worked out in order for people to get them. Okay?
You mean to have identity?
I'm sorry? Yeah,
they can have an identity. Yeah.
They can have an identity, but what I mean is when you say, for example, when you're talking about God, for a Christian, God has a completely different meaning than for a Jewish or a Noahide. So this concept of God needs to be spread, okay? These words that we use and that we so much have in common, they need to be redefined so that people can understand, clarified, so that people can learn the truth. Otherwise, they will never learn it. When you're talking about God, I'm understanding another God, the God that I know, the God, then there are so many cultures also that we need as Noahide, we need to learn and respect other cultures and their development and what, their history. We need to learn so much about that so that we can take this in the right direction. Now, when you're talking about Teva as the ark, here I have a question. When you are building an ark, you're building an ark inside yourself, right? And then you build an ark around yourself with the people. But you need to come to terms with yourself and start acting, not just learning. It's very passive. To learn and to listen, you need to act, because it's the actions that is going to take you to the truth. And then your words will really have meaning, because it's coming from an experience. And it's not just what you believe or your emotions. They count too, but not only that. Otherwise, we'll be falling in the same thing that religions have fallen into. This is totally different. This is something that we need to know and we need to experience. It might be slow, but hey, that's the way it is. How long since I knew that there was a no-hide movement? Since what, 9, 10 years ago? And nobody in this country, in Dominican Republic, knew about no-hide, and or even heard about Jewish people. It's like, what? Jews, it was not, the community here is very small. Now, all of a sudden in the world, the whole Latin American world is moving towards Judaism and Noahism. Everybody wants to be a Jew. No, you don't have to. The idea is to be a Noahide. Oh yeah, how do I do that? Well, we don't know. We're walking. This is new. This is a totally new walk. So
Lisette,
yeah.
if I connect it to with what Linda was mentioning previously about structuring the content, and having it accessible to people in different stages, coming from different cultures. So we have the lecture series on Brit Shalom. We have the book itself. We also have online guides on the website. But maybe you're saying about finding different ways to maybe break down this information. Posts, maybe a post series discussing conceptual differences between the Torah concepts and these concepts in other religions. Am I understanding correctly? Finding
Exactly.
better, structuring better, also, and making more accessible.
But also, there are so many people. I see clear. There are two ways to structure this: through education and through law. To me, this is how I see it. Okay, if I want to do what I am orchestrating here for my country, I want to influence education, because that's the best way to do it. Families, and it's a new education. It's the door. We have an open door to education. Education in most of the countries is going down because nobody trusts that anymore. Everybody's so free. Everything is so education is a big door to start. And reviewing the laws in your country, the system of law, how is that? When you would need lawyers, people who can establish new laws in the countries that are the correct ones, So this is the structure that we need. That's how I see it. Then we're starting the teva right there, okay? Because you are covering people from an unfair world and way of acting that is affecting humans and it's affecting everybody. And another thing that is very, very important is that we need to make it clear that it's coming from Israel. It's coming from the Jews. It's not coming from anywhere else. It's coming from you. So that has to be clear. That has to be very, very clear. This is what I'm seeing and what I've been thinking this day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lisette.
Yes. Okay, Angela and Mike.
Yeah. Good evening, Rabbi.
Wow, Angela is speaking. Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
We're very grateful for the contacts you send us. You send us people's information by email. We do get in touch with these people, but very few come back to us. When we actually sit and talk to people, they have a very hard time forgetting they're Christian. They have this concept of discovering Noahide. They're very keen and enthusiastic, but they have this little bit they just can't let go of. And the minute you start to say this is all wrapped up with the idolatry side of things, and you need to take time and let yourself get used to these ideas and the new concepts, they struggle. They struggle greatly. They've discovered God, and it's the God they thought they were praying to all their lives. And then they've realized it isn't the God they were praying to, because they've been sticking this person's name at the end, and they just have that trouble detaching from it. I always say, I don't mind who you follow on Facebook or which rabbis you want to study with and learn. But when we come together, we always stick with the Brit Olam and the Brit Shalom, and we live by the ways laid down that are open to us and the mitzvahs we can take on. They're keen on that, very, very keen on that. It's just, they just have this bad time letting go. And I don't know how to help people let go.
Very good point.
Yes, it's.
We live in a society
They
where everybody
really
thinks
want to
more
come
is better.
Wholeheartedly, 100%. They are living the 7 laws. They're keeping Passover, they're keeping Sabbath. But there's just this little bit that they can't cut that thread and walk away 100%. And they know it all comes from the Jews and Israel. They've thrown their New Testaments away. They're really studying. They really want to know. I just don't know how I can help them get over that last step. I know it probably comes from teaching, knowledge and experiences. It took me a long time to let go myself. It isn't something you can learn and say within 6 months, I'm going to change, this is it. It's a long process of study and learning. It literally is a lifetime. And I think you get there as you get older in years. The wisdom of those years come with you and open your mind to seeing a lot more clearly. But there's so many young people that are grasping this, but they're struggling to let go. And I don't know how I can help them get past it.
Okay, you mentioned a very important point of one of the, I will say, the turning points of people that we need to find the exact way how to deal with this, to speak about this and those things. No, it's good. It's good that you mentioned it. I think that it is very important. I think also with what I know, with my knowledge and the people that I know that there are also a lot of people here. You're sitting, both of you together, and it's very nice and it's amazing, and we really appreciate that. But we also know that there are some who can't sit together in those classes because the other side disagree with this because of this problem of the turning point. Okay. We also know that this is happening in our world with some of the people, and also some of those who are sitting in this class. But you said a very important point, the point of this turning point and how to move it.
So, Rabbi, if I may interject, these are all excellent points, and thank you. And I hear also a lot of excitement, and that it's really coming from the heart that you're all feeling these struggles personally or with those you're trying to reach. I want to try to guide our conversation also in the direction that these challenges are real and are important in becoming, in adopting a life of Noahidism. I also want to focus on once we have a group of Noahides, how do we bring them together? How do we keep them glued? How do we get them working together, building together? Those are some of the things we also want to discuss.
Yes, Angelica, yes.
Just this last week, I've had a couple of women, actually, one couple, contact me by message and say, we really want to come together. Okay, this is where I live in Vancouver area. BC, Canada. Okay. So I'm telling them they're just coming out of Christianity and they like the Noahide thing and they want to know more. And so I give them where they can be taught. But they said, if you're lonely, like they're lonely, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put something together. You can come to my home, and they want the physical attention, not the internet attention. You can shut it off when you want in the internet, but when you are physically there with them, it's a different story. We are people that need to be physically together and okay, hug each other. I don't care about the corona thing, but we need to be able to know who is your God? Who is God? Is he either all powerful or he's not? He knows what he's doing. So let's accept it. So then let's get together. Didn't Abraham come together with all the people that he gave bread to? This is what we're about. And so now we're going to put together something where we can physically be there in my area, in the Vancouver area. Yeah, Dan, you can come too. I know you're 4 hours away, but but this is the women.
No, the roads are washed out, remember?
Oh, that's right. Can't do that. That's right. We've had problems with that. That's right. Maybe we need somebody that
No,
has.
but you can take an airplane. I've heard that there are very small airplanes there in the Vancouver area.
Someone actually offered a small airplane if you needed to go somewhere, but that's okay. This is what these women said. We want physical contact. How do we do this? I said, come to my home. It's open. Anytime you want to come, you are welcome. So once you have that contact and you physically see that person, it's like, oh, well, you can bring someone else if you want next time. It doesn't matter who. We just, we are to love each other in this kind of way. Like, Hashem loves us. And so how do we do this? And then go from there. And if you want teaching, I only know so much too. So I just give them, this is where I get taught. This is where I get my teaching from. So you can come and, come in there too. But it's on the internet and that's okay. But when we come together, then we can voice our opinions or voice, this is what I think, or what does Torah say? So then we can personally look it up too ourselves and then go from there. It's community. That's community to me also.
Of course. I think over time, if we be bold and we are willing to take small steps of connectivity. I get several every week, several new contacts and connections that I'm always looking to find somebody in their region or area that can connect. But even when I know of somebody in that area, it's very, very hard to actually make that connection. Some people, it's really funny. People are people. But yeah, when you have a stable place, it becomes a destination. You're correct. I'm sure inevitably, as people are bold and make steps towards it, like, I've looked at 5 different buildings here to set up a studio to have a place for Noahide to meet. I've been and I've gone and looked physically at, and then I got to the point where I realized this is just going to cost me another $30,000 a year. And I'm going to get next to no support. And you shake your head and you're like, Hashem, what would you have me do? It should be done. It needs to get done. And there's no wind in the sails. There's just, other than feel good, you can do it, and then your bank account goes down. So, I'm not going into debt for this. But I try to be as bold as can be, and hopefully others learn to be bold. And if it opens one door or makes one good connection where it ignites friendship and fans the flame somewhere in the planet, I think it's all worthwhile.
Yeah. And not just that, it takes time too. Dan knows my family and what I went through. Now, slowly, they're coming to talk.
I see that. I see some of your posts.
Yeah. And slowly, it's a slow thing. So it's changing. It's starting to change.
Yeah. My mother, she's joining in on a YouTube chat, and she's been involved in a lot of my broadcasts. She picked up Rabbi Singer's Let's Get Biblical series, and she's zoned and focused right in on some of the messages he's sharing and clarifying the differences. And it's like, oh my gosh, what have I been listening to all these years? People start to realize, oh my good Lord. Yeah.
All good.
And
Yeah.
Truth teshuva happens. It's beautiful when it does.
Yeah.
Fine. So first of all, thank you very much for sharing with us all those thoughts and ideas, and really from the bottom of your heart. Wendell, do you want to say something? Bart, do you want to say something? Jack, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was listening, and so I can only conclude for myself, from all what I have listened here. Sometimes one does not have but the internet, and one is alone. There are many people who are alone in countries or regions, so they only have internet. I am in a situation where the people I know are all Christians, evangelical Christians, and very convinced of their thoughts and their theology.
It's a war to even discuss with them, isn't it?
What do you say?
It is a war to even discuss with them.
Yes. So what can I do? I come to the point of being an influencer and the need for being educated myself, for learning for myself. So I need Noahide World Center. I need teachers to go further on the path I've discovered. And for me, and maybe for all of you, or most of you, it's a long path where you discover more and more of the truth. But it's the same for all the people who are around me and who are not yet on the path. So I need the support of Noahide World Center. I need the support of getting good teachings and getting connections with you to the internet, because I'm not able to travel to the States, for example, every week. Yeah?
No, you're all invited to Israel, of course.
Or of Israel. Yeah? So, and so on this way, I can grow, and I can grow in my influencing others. So the way I discover is the way of kindness for the people around me, the way of being an example as a Noahide. So I'm getting their respect, and coming out of this respect is that they start listening, slowly opening themselves just to the point they feel not threatened. And then, if they don't feel threatened, if they see this is a part of that is right, it is not threatening me, then there is a point that they begin opening themselves. That's a kind of process I'm seeing. Perhaps I'm wrong at some point, but that's what I feel in my experience. So it's not a way of creating communities now, because if I would do this, and if I would be capable of doing this, the only result would be that I would create another kind of church without Jesus, because they only have their own reference of community. That's a Christian reference. And these people would take with them this reference of community. And then you would create a new theology, a new church without Jesus. That's not what we want. We want to follow the God of Abraham.
Very good point. Very good point, Bart. Thank you.
A very important point. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. We need to do it in the right way. Excellent.
Right. Yeah. We're not here to create a new religion. That needs to stay clear.
So the concluding point is, what is the definition of leadership, of a leader? And it's not either being an influencer or either building a community, but every one of us has to give what he can give and what he can be in his path with as a Noahide.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you very, very much for the things that you said. Thank you for joining us in the last few weeks also.
Thank you.
From there in Europe, Interesting.
Yes. So are we winding her down for today, Rabbi?
I think so. Now, you all know my email, Sarah's email, also Lee, it's the same like me, okay? Just LEE, Studel B'Tolam Community. So you can all send us also emails in the next coming few days. The truth is that we thought about a lot of things, but we've heard very good new points and things here also. And we will adjust all of this. We will come back to all of you. We will give ideas, and you're all going to be part of it. It's not the mission of Chaim Goldberg.
Let us know where we can help. Yes. Assign tasks, Rabbi. Don't be afraid to assign tasks, but it's tough to get to know everybody's skill set and what they can do and will complete.
Fine.
Well,
We'll work together.
A wonderful lesson today, Rabbi. Thank you for sharing Genesis with us. It's such a joy to see Lee and Sarah again. It's been too long. And Hashem willing, Rabbi, are we tentatively on for next Sunday? Is that?
Yes, of course.
So,
yes.
Okay,
yes.
folks. So that's our schedule. We're aiming to be back with Genesis class next Sunday, the same time. And we wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week, and stay strong out there, and keep your heads clear. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Cheer up, everybody. It will be great. See you all. Thank you very much. We'll send you an email. Okay.